Hello, everybody. Today we are going to talk about leading activities. This is from our Principles of Business Management book, chapter 5.1.3. To lead successfully, managers must master a number of activities designed to achieve goals through effective employee management. And these activities include problem solving, consensus building, financial analysis, effective communications, employee motivation, and operations management. And we're going to take a moment to look a little bit more deeply at each one of those. Problem solving. So, managers need to use critical thinking skills to solve complex problems. So, this involves determining the cause of the problem, evaluating alternative solutions, and devising a plan to solve them. Many causes of problems are outside a manager's control, so they need to be creative and resourceful to find solutions. Consensus building. Managers need to support to implement their plans. All right. So they're going to need a lot of support from the people that they work with. So, what does this look like? This involves collaborating with various groups, such as the IT department, so technology, maybe order fulfillment. Hey, I need you in the warehouse to fulfill my order. Okay. Sales. Who's the person that's going out there doing the sales? That it's boots on the ground, talking with the employees, and just new employees in general. So they need support from everybody that works under them in order for their plan to be successful, right? And they also need to make sure that they're building consensus. So, building consensus requires effective communication and negotiation skills. So, when you're building a consensus, you need everybody to be on the same page. So, if you're trying to figure out what kind of ice cream to buy, everybody needs to agree that we're going to buy vanilla ice cream. Okay. And if you not everybody is agreeing, then you don't have a consensus among your group. So it's important that as a manager, you know how to build consensus so everybody is on the same page. Financial analysis is the next step. So managers must understand these three things, okay? They must understand the financial impact of their decision. So their decision could cause the company to make money, could also cause the company to lose money. So they need to understand that the decisions that they make could cause financial impact. Number two, they need to justify expenses. So, why are you buying these things? Okay. So, they need to justify expenses by analyzing the potential benefits, such as reducing lost sales or increasing new sales. So, they need to think, okay, well, why am I making this change to the finances and how is it going to best benefit the company? And number three, they need to develop a sales forecast and budget to allocate expenses effectively. So, you have to think ahead. Next month, are we planning on selling X amount of hot dogs at our hot dog stand, right? Or because it's in the middle of winter, we're not expecting as many people. So maybe we don't need to buy as much supply. So you need to develop some sort of sales forecast and budget for what those changes may end up being. The next one is effective communications. As a manager, communication is crucial for implementing work in a business. So, managers must effectively do these things, okay? You need to communicate your plans. What are you doing? And you got to let your employees know. You don't want to leave them in the dark when it comes to changes that are happening. You need to gather feedback, talk with your employees, and find out are they enjoying the changes? Are they not enjoying it? And how can you fix it? You need to resolve communication problems. A lot of people like to avoid conflict, and as a manager, you can't do that. You have to jump in with 2 feet and take care of any problems that are happening in order to move on successfully. Listen to employees. Employees complain a lot, guys. I used to be a manager, and I can't tell you how many problems and issues employees have. And you have to listen to them and hear what they have to say. And in addition to that, you have to involve employees in your decision making. So I could have this really great idea that I'm going to make employees work an extra 15 minutes every day. Well, if I'm not talking to them and involving them and getting their feedback and trying to understand why that would be a good idea or a bad idea for them, I'm not being a very good manager. And then lastly, we want to encourage them to contribute their ideas. So we want to hear what they have to say. And as a manager, you have to be open to receiving their ideas. Okay, their ideas matter, and you're not going to be successful if your employees don't feel like they're being heard. So that's all of the things that you should do and keep in mind for effective communications. The next one is employee motivation. We're going to really get into this into the next chapter of 5.2, but motivation is influenced by factors that drive individuals to accomplish goals. So managers can use rewards and punishments to encourage employees to motivate them. So an award could be maybe you get a bonus at the end of a quarter because sales were high, and so you're going to give your employees an extra check that has money in it. Or a punishment could be, okay, well, if you're not being productive, well, then you're going to have to stay an extra 15 minutes, or you're going to have to stay longer until you get your work done. Because if they're not being motivated to get their work done, then there's going to be some punishment there. Additionally to that, understanding what employees value and providing rewards that satisfy their need can enhance motivation. So in here, sometimes when I see a couple of you who maybe haven't been working or motivated to do any work, if I see that you are working, I'll slip you some candy and a note, right? So that is a way to motivate and say, hey, I notice you. I know that you're doing a good job. And hopefully that will enhance your motivation to where you would want to work more. Along the lines of employee motivation, though, things to keep in mind are the intrinsic. I always love this word because I can never pronounce it. Intrinsic and extrinsic factors both influence motivation. Okay, so let's talk about what those mean. So, motivation comes from influences both inside and outside of an individual. So, intrinsic motivation stems from a person's beliefs, feelings, attitudes, that influence the person's actions, where extrinsic comes from rewards and punishments applied by other people. All right. So it's important to keep in mind that when you're looking at how to motivate employees, that you look at, okay, well, if this person is a Christian, maybe I could influence them or motivate them by offering to pray for them and their family, right? But if that person isn't a Christian, then praying for them isn't going to be motivating for them. You get what I'm saying? Because it's based on that person's attitudes and beliefs. Extrinsic motivation, though, comes from rewards and punishments supplied by other people. So I could say, like, hey, you're doing a great job. Here you go. Here's some candy, right? Because I'm going to be able to influence you in that way. And then lastly, here we have operations management. So, operations management involves directing the major activities of a business to achieve a goal. So, what does this include? It includes a couple of things. Ensuring facilities are up and running, the equipment's good, the materials and the supplies are available and in good condition. So, you want to make sure that your employees have everything that they need and it works. Okay, because if they don't have everything that they need and it's not working, they're not going to be happy. Okay. And then the next thing is effective planning, organizing, and problem solving. You got to be on it, folks. As a manager for operations management, you got to plan ahead. You got to make sure you're really organized and that you know how to problem solve. If you don't know how to do those three things as a manager, you're not going to be very successful. So managers need to understand the unique work of their departments to support employees effectively. So again, those are the, I believe, 6 or 7 different things that managers need to do in order to be successful. So, problem solving, consensus building, financial analysis, effective communications, employee motivation, and operations management.